Good morning. Ordinarily, since we're coming from a tech company, we'd be here in jeans, but we decided today that we would dress like regulators so we'd get your undivided attention. I'm Catherine Palmieri, and this is John Lovelet, my colleague. If you were here last year at Finovate, you would have seen our CEO, Sanjeev Dheer, present to you our email and mobile money product for consumer, which is Popmoney. I wanted to spend a moment to give you an update on the product. In the year or 6 months or so since we've launched it, contrary to what the analysts have been telling you, P2P is exploding. 6% of the online base is using it for an average of 1.5 transactions per month. We've experienced double-digit growth every single month since we launched it, including 22% month-over-month growth in August alone. So how are they using it? Well, you know that example of I'll pay you back for dinner last night? That's not it. Our average transaction size is $334. And as my friend from American banker, Daniel Wolf, said, well, sounds like they're using it for bills. And Daniel's right. They are using it for bills. 36% of the payments are going out for bills such as rent, car payments. Another 13% are going out for household expenses such as lawn care, child care, and even alimony. And interestingly enough, yeah, isn't it funny how people pay alimony by email? Interestingly enough, another 12% are using it for gifts. But the other thing I wanted to note here is that, the security concern that you've heard about, well, the feedback we've gotten from both our senders and recipients is that fewer than 0.5% are actually concerned about the security. But we're here to talk today about our newest application, which is small business for Popmoney for small business. Now, as most of you know, and as I like to say, small businesses are caught in what I call Goldilocks land. The consumer offering is too small, but at least it's free. The commercial offering is too large, and oh, by the way, too expensive. So what happens? Businesses shop around. 50% of businesses have relationship with 3 or more financial providers, which makes them very savvy consumers of financial services. They also have no time to go to the bank. 74% of them access their accounts online, and 2/3 of them pay their bills and move money online. But there's been one last hurdle, and that hurdle has been that consumers, vendors, and payees haven't been willing to share account information, which brings us to email and mobile payments for small businesses, Popmoney.
Thanks, Catherine. So let's take the next few minutes, and I'll show you how small businesses can actually transform their payables process with email and mobile payment capability. As Catherine mentioned, we believe this is absolutely going to transform the industry. So let's get right into it. The first thing I would do is log into my right through the security and convenience of online banking and log into Small Business Popmoney from my online banking application. The next thing I do, just like your normal payables process, I'd go in and I'd add my payees. In this example, I'm going to be paying Jeffrey Miller, who's an employee of ours, Samuel Walters, who's a consultant that works for our company, and then we're going to be paying our rent to Wakefield Office Properties. I select and add those payees, and then they appear in the drop-down. The next thing is to simply select the account from which I'm going to pay, and then I'm given the option to select standard or next-day payments. It's interesting to note here that about 20% of our vendor payments today are going next day. Small businesses are willing to pay fees for accelerated payments. So it's a great opportunity for financial institutions to monetize these transactions. The next thing, and this is where it really gets exciting, is to talk about the options for paying these 3 different payees. In the past, I've been sending them paper check. It's inefficient, it's costly. There's lost opportunities for early payment discounts. I might even get late payment penalties. Obviously, these are small vendors, so they're not going to be in the electronic bill pay networks, so that hasn't been an option for me. Until now, I've been at a loss. But now we have email and mobile payment capability, so let's talk about that. Jeff Miller, I don't know his account number. I do know his email address, so I'm going to pay him to an email address, and I'll type in the amount. Samuel Walters, actually, we've been working with him for a while, and he was comfortable to give me his account number, so I entered that in, and we're going to give him a direct account payment. To our office properties company, we don't know their email address, but we do have a mobile phone number. So those are my 3 different options, and I'm going to use all 3 in one payment batch. Next thing I do, I can add an invoice number or a note there, and then I'm going to extend the payment details to do some additional features. One thing I can do is I can categorize the payment. So later on, when I'm searching through the history, I have an easy way to search. And then I can also make this recurring. So if I'm obviously going to be paying my rent every month, I can select the frequency, the duration, the end date, and then kick these off. So I would then select the details of all three, click Continue, and then what happens is the system will echo back to me the details of those payments. If I want, I can create a personal message and send a personal message to one of the payees, or I can just leverage the default message. Everything looks great. I'm going to click Send. And now what happens? Well, Samuel Walters, I knew his account number, so he's going to get a direct ACH payment in 3 days. If I chose next day, he'd get it tomorrow. Jeffrey Miller and Wakefield Properties are going to get an email message or a mobile phone message with information from me with my business logo saying you've received a payment, but you need to take action now to enter your bank account and deposit that payment. Jeffrey Miller happens to be banking with a Popmoney bank. All he does, that payment's going to appear right within his small business Popmoney online application. There it is. He simply goes in. There's my personal message. He selects the account he wants to deposit it to. He can add a note or a category so he can search for the payment in the future. Select Continue, and then the payment's deposited. Wakefield Properties, on the other hand, they actually don't bank currently with a bank that offers Popmoney. They bank with a small credit union that hasn't yet launched the service. What they would do, come to our Popmoney homepage, quickly register as a business, do a light registration where we do some security checks on their accounts and their identity, and then there it is, same interface, there's the payment from Jeffrey Miller, and he'd go through the same deposit process. It's as easy as that. We've just turned these payments 100% electronic without having to know account number or payment.